What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and today on our Beyond Omega Level series, we're going to cover a character that I cannot believe I have not covered yet in this series. But as I was going through my videos to see who I did cover, he was noticeably absent. And of course, I'm referring to the Devourer of Worlds, Galactus himself, or G-Dog as I like to call him. Seriously, somehow we've covered Galactus' daughter, but Galactus himself, I don't know. But that'll be fixed today. So Galactus was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and made his first appearance in Fantastic Four number 48 in 1966. Now, on why he created Galactus, Stan Lee said that he was simply the latest in a long line of villains they were creating in the Fantastic Four title, and that he and Kirby wanted to basically outdo themselves. So they figured the only way to do that was to create a character that was nearly godlike in terms of power. But to put a different spin on the character, they wanted to make a villain that was not necessarily evil, but that consumed planets because he simply needs their energy for nourishment in order to survive. Now, getting into his comic book origin, in the universe that existed before the current Marvel universe, there was an explorer named Galan of the planet Ta. And as that universe ends, Galan gathers a crew and journeys to the point of impending destruction of the universe itself in an attempt to save his people. Now, everybody aboard the ship dies except for Galan, so he basically led them to their own doom, who of course encounters an entity called the sentience of the universe, which was basically the totality of all life in all of the universe, an abstract similar to eternity in the main Marvel universe, but Marvel never really bothers to explain the difference between the two. But the sentience and Galan basically merge and become part of the cosmic egg that would be the beginning of the current universe. Now, after gestating for billions of years, Galactus' spacecraft is discovered by one of the Watchers, and even though he sensed Galactus' enormous potential for destruction, the Watcher chooses not to destroy him, knowing that he would be necessary for preserving order in the universe. Now, Galactus remains in his spacecraft for billions of years following his discovery by the Watcher, and when he awakens, he almost immediately consumes the planet Archaeopia, which would become the first in a long line of worlds that would fall victim to the Devourer. Now, after consuming the planet, Galactus then began constructing his new home, a world ship large enough to be orbited by planets, which he named Ta-2 after his fallen homeworld. Now, feeling guilty for destroying so many lives, Galactus temporarily vowed to seek out only uninhabited worlds to feed on, but eventually deems himself to be a necessary force to the universe that's too important to worry about something as trivial, and begins consuming inhabited worlds as well. Now, to aid him in this task, he employs Heralds to seek out worlds to devour, imbuing each of them with a fraction of his own immense power, known as the Power Cosmic. Now, the first of these was the Fallen One, who proved to be so cruel and unpredictable that Galactus imprisoned him inside a space prison called the Kiln. Galactus's next, and probably best known Herald, would not be employed for several millennia later when Galactus found his way to the planet Zen-La. Now, to spare his home world from being consumed by Galactus, one of the citizens named Norrin bargains with Galactus to serve as his herald in exchange for Galactus sparing his planet. Now, Galactus agrees and then gives Norrin the Power Cosmic, transforming him into the Silver Surfer. Now, the Surfer travels through the universe, finding uninhabited worlds to satiate Galactus's hunger, but Galactus gradually alters the Silver Surfer's mind so that he begins finding worlds that were actually inhabited. Now, when the Surfer leads Galactus to Earth, he encounters a Fantastic Four and the Thing's girlfriend Alicia Masters, who convince the Surfer to rebel against Galactus, who basically leaves the Earth and vows never to consume it, but banishes the Surfer there as punishment for his rebellion. And so after this, Galactus would be a mainstay of the Marvel Comics universe and would show up several times as an antagonist of the Fantastic Four and in various cosmic stories, almost always as a threat to completely destroy whatever planet he comes across. However, there was a period of time recently when instead of functioning as the Devourer of Worlds, Galactus became the Lifebringer when he restored life to the planets that he'd previously destroyed. But he has since returned to consuming worlds and has taken Thor as his latest in a long line of heralds, which ended relatively recently. So before we get into Galactus's powers and feats, I do want to address exactly why he exists as it relates to the cosmic order of the Marvel Universe. Now, as one of the oldest entities in the universe, having existed since the universe was created, Galactus' existence is integral to preserving order in the Marvel Universe. He is said to serve as a balance between the entities of death and eternity, who are two abstract entities that have also existed since the beginning of the universe itself. And together, the three of them are said to comprise the great triangle that is the universe. According to Eternity, if Galactus were to die, the entire universe itself would ultimately collapse. Now, the existence of Galactus also prevents the coming of Abraxas, the converse of Eternity and the embodiment of destruction, who we'll probably cover in a future video. So exactly what are Galactus's powers? Well, like I say so many times on these Beyond Omega level videos, pretty much everything. The best way we can describe Galactus is nigh omnipotent. omnipotent, meaning there's basically nothing he can't do. His vast powers are fueled by the planets he consumes, and he uses devices called elemental converters to change the matter he consumes into energy, in addition to being able to absorb energy from other cosmic entities. Now, Galactus is the source and primary wielder of the power cosmic, which allows him to perform a variety of feats, such as matter manipulation, energy projection, teleportation, force field, and portal creation, perform telepathy and telekinesis on a universal scale, and even resurrect the dead and create life. We know the fact that he can destroy planets and even solar systems, as well as recreate destroyed planets, that Galactus is well beyond Omega level. But I want to take a look at some of the feats he's performed so we can get a real sense of just how powerful this guy is. So when Galactus went up against the Phoenix Force, he was able to absorb its energy, and had Jean Grey not interfered, he would have been able to kill the Phoenix, which would have done irreparable damage to the time stream. Galactus has defeated Mephisto in his own realm, where Mephisto himself is nearly omnipotent, and the battle between them wipes out countless planets and ends when Mephisto surrenders to avoid Galactus consuming his entire realm. When the Annihilation wave invaded the Marvel Universe, Galactus wiped it out with one energy blast, destroying 3 solar systems in the process, and emitting this blast did not slow Galactus down at all. Now, it needs to be pointed out that prior to doing this, Galactus' energy was being siphoned off by Thanos and Annihilus, so he was extremely hungry and therefore significantly weakened when he did this. Basically, Galactus was hangry, and furthermore, the reason Annihilus was using Galactus was that he planned on turning him into a bomb that would wipe out the entire Marvel Universe and the Negative Zone. But when Thanos figured out what he was doing, he freed Galactus so Galactus could wipe out all of Annihilus's forces. Something else that I also want you guys to keep in mind here, the forces of Annihilus during the Annihilation Conquest storyline had conquered about half of the universe, if not 3/4 of it, right? Literally, the story opens up with like Richard Rider Nova and Peter Quill Star-Lord fleeing for their lives, running what is in effect an evacuation team. They call it a unified front to face off against the threat of the Annihilation wave. They weren't fighting anything. They were all just evacuating people and fleeing for their lives and trying not to die. But Galactus was able to cause a star to explode and exist within the star without being destroyed. And it's said that if he were to enter a black hole, the black hole itself would be destroyed by the sheer amount of luminescent energy that he produces. Galactus also possesses one of the most powerful weapons in the Marvel Universe, the ultimate Nullifier, which is described as being much a part of Galactus as his heart, and is capable of wiping out entire universes. And probably the most significant moment in the history of Galactus happened relatively recently, when Galactus traveled to the realm of Dormammu and consumed it, and even absorbed Dormammu himself. It was nuts. So yeah, that is obviously not a complete list of Galactus's feats by any means, but I think it gives you a pretty good idea of how powerful this guy is. Here's one of the things that's gonna blow your mind though. As powerful as Galactus is, one of the crazy things is Franklin Richards is more powerful. There's a point in the story where Galactus basically fights these mad Celestials from an alternate universe, right? From like an alternate reality. And the Celestials all merge into like a giant celestial being, right? A singular being, and they kill Galactus. So Franklin Richards from the future comes to the present and combines the power of his younger self with his own power, and then sends the mad Celestials to the other side of the universe. Then, like when the mad Celestials show back up, he's like, it's all good, man. I got this, y'all. He resurrects Galactus from the dead, makes Galactus his herald, and then the two of them fight the mad Celestials and win. It was amazing. Oh my God, dude, Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four was absolutely amazing. It was so ridiculously good. So yeah, Galactus is ridiculously overpowered in Marvel Comics. It's insane how powerful this guy is. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section about our Beyond Omega level video on Galactus, and let me know if there's anybody else you all want me to see. Yes, Aaron Wilder, I have seen your requests. But we have to give other people a chance. Otherwise, we'll do nothing but Aaron Wilder videos, because this guy posts requests like 15 characters at a time. Anyway, guys, we're gonna bring this to an end. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all later. Peace.